Hi guys, what's up?
Oh man. Hey everybody.
I'm Captain America, and
I don't know, man. I'm getting used to this
um,
damn design thing. It's still on Christmas. There we go. Welcome back to Get With The Programming. I'm Chase
I'm
Ingram.
Captain America.
And along with me is Bill Grumler.
Wolverine.
And it's
And
not
that's how you start the year off, right?
Totally screw up. Is this our first show of 2024?
Yeah.
Yeah. The takeover.
There you go.
The takeover. What's up, everybody? Steven, Spin, Judy, Kenneth, Barclay, Draw Your Dagger. Hello, everyone. Ryan, 6-person teams, 4 on the floor at once. Ooh, you're getting dangerously close.
Totally.
Dangerously close, Ryan. Corey, Jeffrey.
Ridgeline Realtor. That's kind of a cool name.
Oh, yeah. Ridgeline Realtor, Colorado Living. What's up? Your housing prices.
Give me some
Alyssa
land,
Chelsea,
bro.
welcome, everyone. We are here to fix the team competition for the CrossFit Games. When would you say the team competition peaked?
I would say the year after Rich took second.
The year after.
The year after. And the reason I say that is because I think everyone wanted to know if he was going to be able to bring the team back. So everyone would tune in because it was like, oh, Rich. I mean, I don't think anyone that year expected Rich to lose. I mean, Adrian's team was great. They were amazing. That was 2017, right? So 2018.
2017 is when they lost to Wasatch.
Yeah.
They came back for 2018.
I think 2018 because everyone then was curious about what was going to happen because I don't think anyone expected Rich to ever lose.
Okay. I'm with Spin. I think it peaked in 2017 when they lost because after that, they just laid waste to everyone every year until Rich is like, I'm done.
I agree. I totally agree with that. But I think everyone was tuning in to see if they would be able to come back. I don't think anyone thought they were going to lose. I thought it was like, well, Rich's going to win again. Rich's going to win again.
Okay, I would say maybe they did that in 2018, but after that, like
100%.
There was
100%.
no tuning in. It was just just tuning in to watch Rich.
Right, 100%. All of that was Rich, and it was I was gonna throw something out there, and I can't do that yet.
Oh no. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think that you are. I think that you are very right on that. It was only to watch Rich.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and when Rich pulled out and decided not to do teams anymore, as much as I think that was a great thing for him.
Yeah.
I think that was like if I was, I mean, everybody in the CrossFit space should have been like, we need to have another big story and needed to go hunting. And of course, small teams, so they couldn't really go hunting for a new story. But I think that opened up for everyone else thinking like, okay, sweet. Now we can actually get some people in there because everyone's almost like an unknown.
Yeah.
I mean, virtually.
Yeah. And I can see a Spin seeing it. What you're saying is like, hey, is this going to be it? And then you're like, oh no, it's not. And this is just the beginning of like, yeah, Mayhem won in 2018 by 112 points over Invictus X. Thank you, Spin. And then after that, it was like 200 points.
Right.
It was over by Sunday. Then they had to just like make up stuff, right? It's like, okay, we're going to change the rules to super teams. And it made it even worse. Like the year of the super team, and I think Chelsea was talking about this in 2019, which is the only, if this was your only time watching the CrossFit Games, I'm sorry. Like you,
oh my
this
gosh,
is
I know.
a bad year altogether. But like it was the biggest, like I think, margin of victory on teams ever. And It was the year of like no rules. So
yeah.
like, oh, well, maybe this will be the year that people get competitive with CrossFit Mayhem. We're like, nope, worst year ever.
Yeah. And why? Let me ask you, why do you think that was the case? Why do you think that with the super teams, it ends up being less of a competition. I mean, I have my ideas on what it is, honestly. I'll give you mine first. I'll
What
give
do
you
you
mine
mean by
first.
less of a competition?
So when it was the worst thing because it was the biggest blowout, right?
Yeah.
So what I see with the super teams, or the idea of the super teams, and why I mean, really why I think that was like a negative shot was there aren't that many athletes that were going to be high end that all are going to like gravitate to one place. Like they went to Rich because it was Rich.
Okay.
And everybody only wanted to go to Rich. I mean, there were people that tried to come up with something. They tried to put some things together. But I think that overall, there aren't enough high level athletes that can be as tight when you're just developing super teams. And like, I mean, and really, like, what's the financial gain to do something like that? Like, if you're going to be on a team, it's like there's got to be a reason to do that. At least if you're an individual, you can kind of move yourself around and figure out what you're doing it for. But like, if I'm putting all my eggs in a basket to take the spotlight off myself to join this group, I want to join the group.
Right.
I don't want to be we're the underdogs.
Unless you
of the
hit the
underdogs
Wasatch route and it's like, we are going to beat the group, but they did everything you are supposed to do to beat that group. And I think what you're talking about is that the reason why super teams never worked is because nobody worked together as hard and often as Mayhem did. And they had a leader like Rich Froning. There's a reason why Rich is the greatest, right? It's because he is the alpha, the leader, the dictator. And I mean that in a positive sense, meaning he tells people what to do. Now, he's not an overlord, right? But like, there's no one, I mean, imagine having Rich there, just be like, everybody's looking at him. There's no argument. Everybody is bought in.
Right.
It's, I mean, not to make a comparison of like careers, but it's like Michael Jordan. Like, you get on the court and we listen to Mike.
Yeah.
Like, there's no questioning. I mean, maybe there was, but like, then he punched you in the face. Like,
dude, I don't think that there was any, because like, how can you line up now, even if you beat him in a particular, whatever training workout that they're doing that day, like he was so far above the rest of the field.
Yeah.
That really everyone else is going to be like, hey, you lead the way and we'll smash everybody else down right behind you. And who else out there has that sort of, I don't even want to call it charisma, just star power that like everyone's going to, the magnet to pull you all in.
I mean, they thought Annie had that. I would say like Annie would have that power, especially who she brought in, but it was such like a hodgepodge group of people. And I don't mean to say like they are unworthy of.
Dude, they didn't have enough time together.
They're not enough time. And that'll go into part of my team stuff.
Yeah.
It's like you pulled from 2 people in the US at different parts of the world and someone from Australia and just like threw them all in Iceland for the first time together for a matter of months and thought that was going to work.
Well, I mean, and do they have the skills? Yeah. But as we've seen, it's not just the skills. You have to be high level, but then have time together. Rich's crew, like those guys all train together. And the thing is that there's people in the woodworks right behind them. So maybe you're not on the team this year, but 2 years down the road, you are on the team. You go from like, freedom to, all kind of make your way up.
Yeah.
And you're all doing the same thing. So you have your reserve team. Right. Which I think is something that we should be talking about today as well.
Yes. Yeah. Let's see. Before we get to it, Kenneth said, just rebrand to the actual affiliate cup. That's dead. That'll never happen. No. Sorry, guys. Everybody that wants the affiliate cup back, it'll never happen. They can't do it anymore. The way they try to hold on to that and regulate it just caused more problems and more, I would say, it created more disingenuous competition of fake addresses, but I live here. Like it just
Loophole City.
Yeah, it made it so much worse, right? Yeah. So like those, and I'm on Team Affiliate Cup. I coached and assembled 4 teams that qualified and competed at the CrossFit Games. The highest team placing 7th. Right? I know about the Affiliate Cup intimately. I miss it. It'll never come back. Unless it's in some type of off-season format or some weird thing in the open, but like you guys got to drop it. Sorry, it's gone. It's gone. But what we are bringing back, segue, is the new CrossFit Games team competition. We're not calling it the Affiliate Cup. It's worthless to call it that anymore. It's basically, it's not, right? You're right. You're right. But
Humbly speaking.
May I humbly suggest?
I'm gonna humbly suggest for my humble brag.
Big shout out to and a huge announcement. And I would humbly like to say he was the first person we had on the podcast about said things like, I don't know, Z-score. We used to call him Travis.
Right.
But it's Mr. Tyler Watkins of the Heat One app, which is the most and official, legit CrossFit fantasy competition app out there, is partnering with Wodapalooza officially. And they are now giving out prizes for winning. $14,000 of prizes for the Heat One app. And here's the best part. You win $1,000 VIP pass to Wodapalooza 2025, right? A 3-month membership to Pliability, shirt and some swag. I mean, you used to get nothing. All we got was bragging rights.
Totally. Yeah.
It's basically like me and John Young shitting on everyone else because we won both individual and team last year for a while. No big deal. Sorry, is that another? That's an actual brag. That's just a little bit of second. Me and John Young crushed everyone. Second place, right? You get all this swag. Like, you don't even need it, guys. This thing is so much fun. The Heat One app. You can pick your top 10 in order. I believe you can do it for individual and teams. And there's like a LATAM competition going on.
Yeah.
Which is pretty sweet. And then 11th place, Preston. So great. You can pick your, let's see, it's the shot collar. So you can pick the top 10, right? Teams and individuals. And then you can pick what the shot collar is you basically get 2 athletes, or you can place an athlete in one event twice.
Yeah.
At the most, right? But what they have going on, so go to your app, whatever, if you're an Android poor person, that's okay. But I'm sure you have an app store there too. You may have to mail it in. Maybe you have to write it yourself. But for those of you who have iPhones, I'm just kidding. God, I hate when the bubble turns green. I'm sorry. I'm phone. I am what is it? Phoneist. I'm trying to think of like a term for racist, but for cell phones. I am that. But actually, I think iOS changed where they can they make the group chat or text.
I just don't add those people.
That's true. We would do that with like some friends. Like, hey, listen, we're just going to leave your husband off this. Just inform him of what we're doing.
Totally.
But if you guys haven't downloaded the Heat One app, please do. It's freaking awesome. Congratulations to Tyler and his team. They've been working on this for a long time. We've got to play this for a while. And regardless of the prizes that are coming out, which are phenomenal, it's just a freaking blast. Absolute freaking blast. Other news. I don't know if anybody saw recently, but OG culture is absolutely murdering it right now. Like, we are crushing the gear. And have you seen the new OG Cult swag that just came out?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? Of course I have.
I mean, that's a stupid question. Absolutely stupid question. But check this out. They'll actually be in Wodapalooza. There will be a booth. So if you guys are traveling from afar, especially we get a lot of it if you guys are coming from overseas where shipping is quite significant, our new gear.
I love that, dude. That spray paint look, sick.
Just, you got Pukey in the background with Cult sprayed over the top of it. We got t-shirts. We've got tank tops. We've got the long sleeve.
Dude, I cannot. That right there, I want for Laura. She loves crop tops.
Laura could rock a crop top.
She'd dig that. Actually, you want to know what's funny?
I kind of
my daughter.
I don't have the belly for it.
My daughter would love that too. It's so funny. She loves her little crop.
The crop. Me up. The crop, whatever brand Ken uses for this,
So good.
Every girl I talk to loves the crop top.
It looks
Just the
great
way
on all of them, dude.
yeah, it looks awesome. So we got that. We got that in a long sleeve. We got the sweater long sleeve for the ladies. We've got the sweater long sleeve for the men. All of this will be at Wadapalooza. It'll all be there. So go get it. If you guys are part of our Programmatron group, if you support us on Patreon, you guys have a special code for this. It's 20% off the store. But if you order this new gear and use another promo code that we emailed everybody, you get a free pair of OG socks.
Another coolest.
Another. And they're so soft. Where are they? We have them here. Oh, these guys. Check those out. And if you guys can't see at the top, it says just from left to right. Show up on the bottom. It's so sick. They've got black, they've got white. So if you guys are part of our Patreon crew, thank you so much. A way to appreciate you guys even more. You get a 20% off discount code, and then another code that if you buy one of these new fall swaggies, then you will receive a free pair of socks. You got to put it in your your shopping cart. You got to add it, use the code, and then you get it for free. So that is what is happening outside the world of what we are going to talk about today. And we are going to talk about teams. And a lot of talk has been like, do we need teams at the CrossFit Games? Should they cut teams at the CrossFit Games? Nobody watches teams. It's so confusing. And they're all correct. I feel like the team competition is in dire need of a makeover. And that is what we are here for. So Bill and I are going to walk through ideas. I've got 2 pages of notes. Bill, I don't know if you wanted to go tit for tat or just I've got a flow from before season to quarterfinals to semifinals to CrossFit Games and then add as or review.
Here when you asked if teams should still be around, and you pulled up the fact that you have 2 pages of notes. That right there tells me that the people that need to be running the team setup need to be that passionate about the teams. And I think that's good. That would be the first step. So I don't have this big, drawn out plan. I have things that I think would help because in all reality, I'm not big into the team. Just as a spectator, as a fan, it's not really what I'm looking at. It's fun to watch. They're fun to do. But I don't see it as much as you do. So you definitely have a different spin on that. I do think that together, probably what you have, and I know that a lot of things we have are going to be very similar. A lot of the ideas we're going to have will be very similar. So I think at the end of it, we'll have a nice little setup plan. But I think honestly, and I've said this about other parts, no, Bill did do his homework. Shut your mouth. I think that the first step is that the teams have to be run by someone that is into the teams. It cannot be we'll just take the individual stuff and kind of morph it into whatever. It has to be something that, and again, I'll go back to the mission statement that we've talked about with the open and the quarterfinals, whatever. There needs to be the same sort of thing, even for that. Something to understand, not just we want to get the fittest people that are grouped together. What is that supposed to look like? Because I think that that's the main issue. And the first step for me would be, I think you need to decide immediately whether you were going to be on the teams or not at the very beginning of the season, not beforehand. I mean, what would you say? The open? You need to decide, or you say after the open?
I have after the open.
Okay.
I'm giving a little bit of flexibility here, giving time to prepare, but we're talking a matter of 5 weeks. Right? Because I would like the open to be purely one workout event a week. Everyone's playing in the same sandbox. Taking the 25 to quarterfinals is nothing for the competitive side. And so let's make it serious when things get serious. Like we said, the open is now a buy-in to the competitive season. Right? The open is currently our fitness fun run, as we've said in the past, our annual fitness checkup. Right? To buy into the competitive season, then we start getting serious about the competitive nature of things. Although I will have a initial change at the very beginning of the season. So you want to start there?
Yeah, let's start there.
All right. Now, after FitFest, everybody was raving about bringing this back. Bring it back. And clearly, you people forgot what it was like with 6-person teams at the CrossFit Games all competing on the same floor at the same time. It's really easy when there's 4 of them out there filled with individual games athletes. It's a absolute shit show when there's at best 10 teams. That means there's 60 people. Yes, absolute chaos, Nivy. Absolute chaos out there, let alone the other 40 in total times 6. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Let's just remember 240 random people's names out here on the competition floor while this event is going on and we have nothing but a sea of bodies, judges, and equipment for the next 25 minutes. Thrilling, right? However, we have said this in the past, and we've always questioned this, is why have a alternate when it's basically like, hey, you just sit in this corner and shut the F up for the next 4 days. Right? And so what I'm applying is bring back 6-person rosters. So 6-person rosters and still have 2 alternates on the team. Why? Because in case of injury. For an example, it happened at the games this year is that a team checked in, one of their teammates broke their face off.
Right. I remember that.
And then they weren't allowed to actually use their alternate because they had already checked in. So my caveat to this rule is we're going to have 3 men and 3 women on the team. We will have 2 alternates, and that alternate will be available up and until the first event starts. After that, we are now playing a game. So just a little rule there. That alternate is available post check-in and before they take the stage or the floor or the field for the very first time. After that, so be it, right? So here's how I look at it. After the open or during the open, you'll take the top 3 men and women scores combined to make your team score just like they do now and they did in the past because it used to be 2 and 2, but we'll now make it 3 and 3. Nothing changes. They're doing the individual events. You just add them together and you make a team score. We move on to quarterfinals. Quarterfinals begin. Individuals and age groups are doing the same workouts on the same weekend. It's designed like that. You'll be on 2 separate leaderboards. The teams go separately. Before quarterfinals start, athletes must declare if they're going to individual or masters route or team route, and you will not be able to do both. Cannot, right? You have to pick one. We've said in the past we have to do that before the open. Now I'm saying before quarterfinals. Why? Because once quarterfinals is underway, and say we're doing inside the leaderboard, which we will do this year, we know exactly who's qualifying for individual, and we know exactly who's going for team, and we are taking 2 direct paths, 2 semifinals, and projecting possibly down the future what the CrossFit Games could look like. So that's my pre-quarterfinals submission. Teams of 3, 2 alternates on the back end in case of injury prior to competition, and then you have to declare one way or the other before quarterfinal starts. You can't do both.
Obviously we've talked about that sort of a setup a lot. I think we brought that up so many times about what would make it better and things that we should do and the fact of having those alternates and why it is important. And I mean, for lack of a better word, it's just fucking fair.
Right.
I mean, how can you have a team and expect everyone to be completely healthy all the way through and you have absolutely no chances to switch anyone through when you're going from the very beginning of the season through quarters, through semis, and into the games? I just think that doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah.
I am of the same camp. I like the 6-person team, the teams of 3, just like you said. I like the idea of having the 2 alternates. I am really of the proponent that even though the open, everyone should be doing the exact same workouts. I think that as far as individual workouts, Um, I really think that you have to sign up for whatever division you're doing at that point. And the reason I say it early is because if I was doing any sort of competition anywhere, I sign up at the beginning of that, whether it's a qualifying race or not. I sign up at the very beginning and I stay on that track all the way from start to finish.
Yep.
And it stops people from jumping. I think um I guess it's a little bit more aggressive than where you are going to having to do it at quarterfinals. And I don't think that it takes away from anyone seeing how people are performing, whether it's the old way of putting the top 3 men in the top 3 of that gym or of that team that you're putting together, whatever. But you need to call that out early so that you know who's on that team. So that team is basically a group the entire time for the entire season. You are stepping into the masters. You're stepping into the team. You're stepping into the age group. You're stepping into the individual from the very start. So I love your numbers. I'd stay exactly with those same numbers as well. I think that those 2 extra alternates can be and it's a trip because did you see them hanging on? And I kind of do. I
haven't got to the competitive roster yet.
Okay.
So that sounds spin. It just like have some freaking patience.
So mine would just be the exact same thing, but I'm starting it at the beginning of when you turn in your very first event score of the Open. You have to say whether you are team, masters, whatever. That's what I'm saying.
I am not opposed to that. I'm just giving an extra thing we don't have to deal with during the Open, and we can just all be doing the same thing at the same time together going forward, right? Totally. We're all on one leaderboard. The team thing is a side piece anyways. You just add some scores together.
Yep.
The other reason I didn't do that is because we're taking the top 25% to quarterfinals. I don't think using Tia Toomey's score when she's going individual for your team has any effect on anything because we're going to quarterfinals. If this were, say, the old days of Open regionals, 100%. Right.
Well, but for that reason, that's why I think that you should have to do it ahead of time. Because I want to know who's going to be going into quarterfinals at whatever. I don't want people looking before us. So it's like if Tia's on the team or her score gets your team to a high ranking, she shouldn't be able to do that. She should have to say, I'm an individual, so my score doesn't count for the team. That's
I agree. And now towards the end of that time period, they would remove scores from the individuals and then rescore the teams eventually. And honestly, whether it's at quarterfinals or Open, it doesn't change the scope of the competition. At the end of the day, it just makes people choose sooner.
Right.
So I'm with you. All right. What is the other thing I had? A piece of the puzzle that will be important later down the road before anybody jumps down my throat and tries to skip to the end, spin, is that
spinning out right now.
You can only compete in the citizenship semifinal region just like the individuals is.
Yes.
So no more of this hodge collection, random assortment around the country to create a super team. For those that like the Affiliate Cup, we're going to take a taste, and this is foreshadowing, a taste of the Invitational, and we're bringing it to the forefront of the team competition. Now, you can still have regional exemptions, submissions, just like the individuals, but the individuals and the teams will play by the same rules. Why is that? Because I want there to be representation at the games from semifinal regions specifically, not we all qualified out of North America East. Yes, Jeffrey, this was the carrot or the olive branch to your horrible Affiliate Cup idea, right? We're taking the invitational model, US, Europe, Pacific, South America, right? We're taking that model and we're expanding it on top of the team landscape. So before the Open, you can only compete on a team with people that are in your semifinal region. If you're in the North America East, you can only make a team of people that are competing in the North America East. The same with West, the same with Europe, the same with South America, Africa, Asia, and Oceania. Strict hard lines of who competes where before everything starts. I'll expand on that as we get through semifinals. How are you with that?
Yeah, no, I agree. They should be playing by the same rules as the indies are. It is, I think, looking at the regional positioning like that for your citizenship to be on your team, it is a nice middle ground between affiliate-ish and you could still get some good people that can move around in that region to come up with a great team.
Yes.
And I think that that's what it is. I think that that's what it should be. Plus, it forces people that if they're in general, and I say this loosely, I guess, general vicinity, it allows them to train together. So you're not doing just a 1-year show to see, hey, I mean, honestly, that's what Wadapalooza is for. Do the thing where you put the people together from all over that names that you would never see and throw them out there to see what they do. But you want teams that are going to be committing to the idea of a team competition, which is we are a crew that works together, trains together. We will win together, we'll lose together, we will improve together. And you can't do that if you're in 4 different continents. It doesn't work that way. So it holds true to the idea of, and I think this would be something that would fit into the mission statement of what the team competition is we want your team to be a team. A team doesn't mean it's 4 people with 4 names on the sheet or 6 names on the sheet. We want you to be a
from 4
team.
different countries.
Right.
So now we're taking everybody's favorite team competition. Nobody says the Invitational is boring, and everybody wants it back. And this is a precursor to what that could be. Okay. The thing here is that with those stipulations is that during the Open, you must all do the Open together in the same spot. During quarterfinals, obviously, you don't have any choice because they're usually team events at the same time. Right. But we're including the Open when it comes to that. Right.
Right. 100%. Yes.
All right. So to recap, we're opening it back up to 6 team athletes on the competitive roster, 3 men, 3 women, and 1 alternate for each. Going into quarterfinals, semifinals, and CrossFit Games. You can only compete on a team that is comprised of everybody in your citizenship region. And I think that's really it for now. You must declare team or individual. I say before quarterfinals, you say before Open, but at the very least, before quarterfinals begins, you will be on one track or the other.
Right. Barclay brought this up. He said, and I gave my opinion on it, but he said, okay, so if you sign up and you are a alternate on the team, he's like, can you then go individual if you're on the alternate? I said no. Yeah. Because I think you need to pick the track.
Yeah.
Whether
Plus, you're an alternate on a team, you're probably not making it to semifinals as an individual, but I don't want to paint that.
Maybe not, but I think that's what I think you'd have to draw the line anyway. So
it's a team. You're either on the team or you're not. You're either buying in or you're out the door. Like this is competition. This isn't a one. Everybody gets to do whatever they want. We're drawing
that track. Regardless of your position on the team. Yeah, you are on the team.
Yes, and I think the biggest problem with the team competition right now is that it's so muddied with just absolute no lines drawn in the sand other than like dates and who's on the roster.
Yeah.
Right. Pick one. If you're going team, you're going team. If you don't want to be the alternate and be left out, do better. It's called sports.
I agree.
Yeah, you have commitment issues. Then don't sign up for the team.
Right.
Go sign up for the team. All right. Now, in regards of, I will say, quarterfinals and semifinals, okay, and this will be the games, I want to establish the types of events teams will have to do. Not what the events are, the types. And it'll be a hard set type. Here's where everyone will start to chime in. In the team competition, there will only be one event where all 6 will be participating at the same time. The other events will only be 4 or 3 or maybe even 2, but there will never be a time where everyone's competing at the same time. So those 2 extra that we'd have outside the 4 can be used in different ways outside of the actual competition, right? So here we go. I propose that quarterfinals and semifinals must be and only will be 6 events. That's it. The games double. You have 6 events for quarters and semis, and you have 12 events at the CrossFit Games. My style of events, you have one event that is 3 men scored as their own event. You have another event that is 3 women scored as an only event. Those are 2 separate events. You have another event that I call like an individual full. So it's all 6, but it's a relay waterfall style event where everyone will get tested and you have to see how the whole sum of your parts compete against another team's whole sum of their parts. So you've done the men, you've done the women, and you've done everybody. The next 3, you have a 4-person mixed team. So this is event 4. 4-person mixed team, 2 men, 2 women. Followed by a 2-person mixed team that can only be used by the 2 people who didn't compete in the 4-person. If anybody knows their history, this was old school regional events. So whoever 4 do this, the other 2 do that. And now we have 5 events. The last event, the final event, will always be a 4-person team event competing at the same time, and the other 2 will be allowed to sub in at any single time during that particular event. So now you have the teamwork, you have some shell games. So 6 events in quarterfinals, 6 events in semifinals. 3-person men, 3-person women, full relay style with all 6, 4-person mixed, 2-person mixed, and then a 4-person team with 2 subs to interchange at any point in time during the competition. That's for quarterfinals and semifinals. So you're utilizing all 6. Not all 6 will be at the same time, right? Now, I know people want the alternates to be as a sub in the game, but here's the problem. That's a Pandora's box. We talked about hard lines. It's like, okay, when do you get to use your sub? In case someone gets hurt, okay, what if they fake an injury? I fake an injury because the max rep deadlift's coming up, so I pull in, Donk from Crocodile Dundee to pull some weight off the floor. It doesn't work. You have to create a hard line. We're giving you a team of 6. You're allowed to compete with this certain number, which means some people will be sitting out, some people won't, and you make the decision. Why? Because it's a team competition. Here's the event. Do it however is best fit for your team. The program we have now is just weak link programming. You're at the mercy of your weakest athlete. That's not a team competition. It's people working together as a team, but at the end of the day, it's like, why don't we just see who the best is? When you go to the NFL and you play 11 on 11, offense for defense, you don't just say, this is your one spot as a defensive back and you have to guard this guy. That's not how it works. You play to your strengths. You attack people's weaknesses. It's a shell game. It's a competition. It needs strategy just as much as we need to test fitness of the old 6.
Okay, so I love the idea of having a structured event style.
Yeah.
And
Just not
what
type of events.
Well, I think that the like watching the Around the Whiteboard the other day with Taylor and with Fikowski on there, they were talking about the whole unknown and unknowable piece.
Right. I mean, Kalipa's been boisterous about this for the individual competition.
Right. I really feel that when it's thrown out, it's kind of a cop-out statement. I do. I think that because of what the team is, you can't just say, well, you have no idea and we're just going to throw everything up in the air. I mean, if you want to really be able to test all of the people on your team, you have to have a structured way to do that. So I love the fact that you have a variety of different ways to do it. Generally speaking, that kind of works out. I mean, we see a lot of variety. You want the variety. Yeah. It's not just relays the entire time and waterfalls the entire time or pairs the entire time. So it allows everyone to open up. My question is, I like the hard line of if someone gets injured during the competition, how does that change the number of people that you have on there? Like, so let's say you have your final, it's 4-person, you have your 2 extra people that can be used at any time. Those 2 extra people, are they anywhere on the competition floor at any of those other events or only in the final?
Oh no, they're part of the team throughout it, right? Because you have them in your 3 women and 3 men. They're in there, right?
Okay. So, but like, if you are there any extras?
Right? Okay, so you go to the final.
Yeah.
For most of these, rarely is it all 6, save for 1, right? Say someone gets injured going into the final. You cannot replace them, but at the same time, you don't have to use everybody too. You're just hamstrung of, okay, one of our guys got hurt before the final. He's our sub to offset our fatigue level, but it doesn't change the landscape of the competition. We're just going to have to do this with 2.
All right, let me ask this then. Can you, or would you think that the idea or the best choice to do something like that would be that you must do your 6-person event to start? Because that way, if you get anyone hurt, like let's say that the 6-person event is number 5, this kind of hard lines, it kind of makes it easy.
Right.
If you need your 6 people and you're in event 5 and you're out one person, are you now out?
So here's what my day 1 looks like. I even have it on the days. So I'm looking at like a 2-day competition style, or say 3, right? Day 1, you can have the 3 men, 3 women, and the 6-person relay on day 1. So the one that you have to use everybody to do well will be in the early stages of competition. But like, I can't perfectly hedge against someone getting hurt and a team getting knocked out. Again, at the end of the day, that's sports. You lose all your pitchers in a baseball game. You start pulling in the third baseman or whatever. And it's like, that's not going to do your team any good anyways. Right. So like, it can't be, we have an endless supply of bodies to throw in. Right. Again, it's not perfect. It's to cover all the bases, but
well, I think what it does though, especially if you say, okay, the 6-person or those two all-person events being on the first day, it drastically brings the number down. Now, I've seen it in the past where athletes have gotten hurt on the first event, and the team gets kind of screwed. I remember seeing that at one of the regionals way back. So I know that it can happen, but I think that it drastically reduces the number of, well, now we're out, with that number, and it's. It's a weird balancing act between trying to go, okay, are you going to use your subs as what about this? You keep your subs, but if you ever use one of the subs, that person that's injured or whatever, that person's out.
Well, yeah.
So I mean, like it's so like that you said like, okay, we're gonna pull Donk in for the deadlift because doesn't want to back. Okay, well that person that you're pulling out is now done.
Right, but what if that event is event 1 and you put Donk in, then you pull him out for the rest of the week because he sucks at everything? Like
no, if you put him in, I see what you're saying.
No, you start with him, right?
You got it.
Or you finish like the last event is a strength event. Like cool, bring in the ringer.
Yeah,
right? Like I said, hard lines doesn't fit everybody's desire, but this is the best, most I would say. I don't like to use the fair word.
No. It reduces. I don't think the right word is fair. It reduces the amount of inopportune competition.
Right.
Like
it reduces the poor sportsmanship. Right. Like if you can only sub because of injury, then people are going to do their best to manipulate that.
100%.
Right. So it's off the table.
You can't say it won't happen because it's nasty.
This is the best format I can use people with subs that are on the team in competition with 3-3 and mixed modal or mixed co-ed groups. This is the best way we can do it while getting rid of that poor sportsman, toxic, cheating group. When you leave doors open like that, people will try to break through the door.
It does.
And I get it. It sucks.
The last, I just think of Khalifa's team and when Miranda got hurt.
Program something a little bit better.
Well, agreed, agreed. And when it's programmed, when you have all generally speaking, when you have all these great athletes early in the competition, they're not going to. I mean, I'm trying to think of how many times someone has gotten injured on a team at the very beginning. I have seen it happen.
Right.
Like once, but we're talking like out of years.
Right. I mean, we're talking one clear example of a team that lost the games because partly they were not allowed to compete. But again, that programming was different because it was always 6 competing at the same time.
Right.
So for example,
no, I like that, dude. I like that, especially if you set up if you put the all-person events on day 1.
Maybe the first event that's it. The first event of the weekend is the 6-person relay.
Yeah.
Right. Now here's one thing I put as a caveat. The 3 men and 3 women, those events cannot be single modality tests.
Okay.
For one, it doesn't stack a team greater than the other. You got one person who's a great whatever. But two, it doesn't destroy a team if they are, say someone does get hurt at the very beginning, they cannot sub. It doesn't ruin them, because if it's a single modality test where it's total weight combined, total time for a monostructural test, or total reps completed for gymnastics, like if you got 2 or 3, like it doesn't matter anymore. It's over.
Right.
So and I don't want to highlight specialists. It's a team competition.
I do like the fact that especially when you do the 3 men, 3 women, let's say one of those athletes gets hurt in the first part. So now still everyone has to compete.
Yeah.
If it's a, whatever, 2 people are working, one person has to hold something or hold a handstand or whatever that thing is, where it's like, okay, now as a team, the other 2 have to make up with this other person to stand. They don't have the one leg that they can use on. They can do their handstands, or they're doing handstand the entire time, and everybody else has to go. So they can still kind of play. Again, it's great because it lowers the chance of someone getting screwed just because.
We don't want to program it to where you can't actually complete or compete at all because you needed a third. It's just now 2 people are going to have to do the work of 3.
Right.
However you want to program that, it's on you, the programmer, to figure that out.
Yeah, and see, and again, having this lined out, it allows whoever's going to be programming, someone that is extremely passionate and loves the team competition. I'm just saying that person now can use that and utilize that and be like, okay, if you know what you have to do, if you have your parameters, you can do it. It's not just complete. All right, well, let's come up with something good. Now all right. I mean, in all reality, it's only that first day. After that, you can kind of get back to all of the other normal sort of events that you're going to be programming.
Right. And look, injuries happen in sports. Something may happen later. Your team might not be able to compete because maybe you lost whatever. Like one girl, she was on the pair one after the next, whatever. It's just how it works. Okay. So going forward, right? You have set styled events in certain places where the programming fits the team. So now you can use people where you want to. So say event 5-4 comes out, and that's the 4-person co-ed team. 2 and 2. You look at your people, it's like, all right, what's the best 4-person we can make? Cool, that's us. Then you look at then the pair one that's on that same day. And you're just like, oh, damn. I'm actually better at that one, but she's worse at this one, but she's like, or he's also
how much better, how much worse.
And that's how you used to do regionals. It was 6 events. It was a 4-person, 2-person.
Yep.
Like throughout the weekend. I think there was 3 events that happened like that, or that was the 6. And it made it much more strategic on how you pick your team, right? How you assemble those people, how you navigate that through the weekend. Because you could be lined up for the 4-person and realize, and we did this in 2011, where I would say the day before or the week before, we switched one of our girls at the last minute with different events. We're watching the landscape. We're like, hey, nobody's finishing this. I know you're better at this one, but like, since nobody's finishing this, you're actually going to be better here. You're just the only one that can do muscle ups. Now it doesn't matter. Like, no, the muscle ups don't matter. So
right.
Okay, so quarterfinals has 6 events. Semifinals has 6 events. 3 men, 3 women, relay or waterfall. Something where it tests everyone individually. A full, like a weak link chain test is important for the team. It's a team thing. That's how it works. 4-person mix, 2-person mix. The 2 people that are in that one did not compete in the 4-person one. And then a 4-person event that has 2 subs. Again, it's not they're on the floor at the same time. They're sequestered in a box at the end of the floor. And one of the guys like, I need to switch out. And then they come in, right? You got to tag them in. So it's always 4 people working at the time, but 2 people are on the back end, right?
Yeah.
At the games, I said double the events, but not necessarily the style of events. So here's what I wanted to do. I only actually want to see 1, 3, and 3, because that puts a lot of pressure on nobody getting hurt, right? And they're 2 separate events, and it's 2 genders, and like, I don't want too many of those where only half the people are competing, right? I put 2 of those. I put 1 of the relays. I just want 1. That's usually how they did the games. But I want 6 of the 4-person, 2-person. That's a total of 6. So here's the fun part there. You've got 4-person mix, and then you use the 2 people who didn't do it in the next event. They're back to back. There's 3 sets of those, and you can never use the same 4 or the same pair twice.
Yeah.
And that's an old school regional callback.
Yeah.
So you can never have the same 4 and you can never have the same 2, and it always has to be different. And now every single person gets a taste of a 4-person mix with different lineup and a 2-person mix with different lineup. You cannot have the same 4 or the same 2 in any of those windows. And then you have 2 of the 4-person mixed with subs. And those are your 12 events.
Okay, so
it's just building off of the quarters semis format.
Right. I like the idea of having. I think it's important to make that 4-person, 2-person thing where you alternate through all of the spots.
Yeah.
With the 2-person, you have your 4-person here, and then you have your 2-person event, and one time you're here, one time you're here, one time you're here. I think that's great because I think it's important for everyone to be in that position. And I think a lot of people are thinking they need to look at that as that doesn't mean it's the exact same type, like same 3 events.
No,
they're totally different, but it's just your position in that. So it's not someone's doing muscle ups and thrusters, and the other ones are doing how many hands, deadlifts or whatever.
Like
and then all of a sudden,
I think one year it was like a pair did Diane, a pair did Amanda, and a pair did something else, like the lifting ladder.
Right. So, I mean, they could be, again, for everyone that's thinking about this, that 4-person, 2-person can be vastly different. It can be a sprint. It could be a longer one. It could be a heavier one, a lighter one, whichever. It doesn't have to be, and it shouldn't be the exact same sort of setup. So that does definitely switch that position.
Mm-hmm.
How does so that's 3 of the events out of your 12.
Technically it's 6.
6.
Because a 4-person counts as one event, the 2-person counts as another event, and we do 3 of those. So that's 6.
Okay. You're right.
And you have a 3-person relay, and then the 4-person with subs. I think I have 3 of those. Yeah.
Okay. So I
want more 4-person co-ed with subs. I like the action there, the strategy. I want more 4-person, 2-person, mix and match. Everybody can't be the same. And then very few isolated 3 men, 3 women, all 6, because that's when
someone gets hurt, you're
come into play, or over strengths.
So do you see using those still at the front end, if not the first day of the competition, the all people? So if you do need to, it's just like we do with the semis.
Yeah.
That if you need to be able to have the alternate, you can pull that alternate in. Or do you have an alternate if you're doing the 4 and 2?
Nope.
So Miranda's knee blows out.
Put her on the 2.
That team's done.
Put her on the 4, right? And program something where, hey, lady, do all the wall ball shots.
Well, I mean,
or whatever. But like I said earlier, is like, we're not going to 100% prevent injury from disrupting someone's team competition. A part of sport is that, right? You lose your starting quarterback. Yes, they can still play the game, but come on, right? I cannot 100% guarantee. No different than, I don't know. Yes, other sports can play because they have big teams, but this is a different sport. It's not the same thing.
I agree. I feel that there needs to be a way. And I think you could do exactly what you said. You're 6-person, basically running 4 people max at a time. You have your first, you have your big waterfall event. You have your 2 3-person all male, all female teams in the beginning on the front end. So in case anyone does get hurt later, that you can put someone in, and that could be set up in a way, programming wise, where it's like, okay, let's say someone does get hurt. Would they be able to compete in here? Because I do think it's important to be able to have an alternate in there somehow. I don't like
I
the
don't
idea.
disagree. Again, at the beginning,
The hard line. It's hard to set it up for sure.
right.
100%.
You could do something where the only path I've thought of where someone gets hurt, can we please use our alternate? The only thing I could think of is you would say yes, but you must lose your highest finish place score.
So you get a 0?
Yeah,
Well, shit, just take a 0 on the next one then.
exactly. But you get more after that.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the only way. If you injured yourself, right? Because if you don't there's no other real way to use the alternates outside of the 6 that we're giving you that is not going to create a bigger devious problem on the back end unless you penalize the team significantly to bring this person in the competition.
Yeah,
You didn't stay healthy. You got hurt.
Yeah.
You are responsible for your own physical well-being. Accident or no accident, it doesn't matter. It's no different than using tainted supplements because you didn't get them like $1,000 tested, which that sucks. But that's it. It has to be something like that. Or say you lose 100 points, something. It has to be something.
It's got to be something drastic.
Exactly.
Because it has to be like, hey, we are losing
right.
our number one, our best score. We won that event and now we don't have that event. So are you really hurt? Or the mathematicians of the group are going to be like, okay, we're this much behind. Our best score was actually only 8th place. So we'll take a 0 on that one. So we could do a lot better on this next one. So we're going to bump us up a little bit, but you're right. It's got to be drastic enough so that those points are going to be like, well, you just didn't slide in with all rainbows on that. Yeah. It's got to be some sort of a,
make it whatever it is you want to make it up. If you do want to go that route, I don't. But the only thing I thought of is it's a 100-point penalty to use an alternate. The other person can never come back in. That goes for both.
I like that. I like that. I'll take that one because
you want to use your alternate. It's 100 points.
100 points, and that other person's done.
All right. If that's the direction they would want to go, then I'll sign off on that. I'll still press on with that not being in mind, but like that's why we wanted the conversation is like, listen, I want the alternates to be a part of it too. I just don't want to deal with the other bullshit. And Cocky was saying something about all these rules.
Happen.
This is my point, is that we're not making a lot of rules. We're defining a lot of things. This actually makes the season easier. But when you bring in the alternate situation, that's when the mess and the muddy it's in there. But if it's just 100 points for an alternate, okay.
Yeah.
Let's weigh our pros and cons. We weren't going to win because we lost our person, but we still get to compete. And that's why we paid a lot of money to be here, which is usually why people want to continue with an injured athlete. Say for NorCal, that's a special example. Stop 100%, using that to bolster your arguments out there, people. That was a unique situation and they got fucked. We agree.
But there are a lot of times where you could have a team. I mean, you look at how the teams kind of work. Like you usually have these large, there's some vast distances between the top tier teams and then the next tier teams and then the next tier team. So you could have a relatively top tier team that, okay, maybe they're 3rd, 4th, 5th, but it keeps them in the top 10 because they still get to keep competing. I mean, when you have teams that are 100 points over somebody, and I'm not talking just the best of the best, but I mean, if you want them to stay up towards the top, that allows you to at least stay in the game. Are you going to win it? No, you're not. But you wouldn't win because you hurt your person. Your person got hurt. So you can't make it to where that they're going to win.
Right.
You have to be able to have that black mark means something, but you still get to limp through. I mean, it's very hard. I mean,
I don't hate it, honestly.
Yeah, dude. Actually, the more we talk about it,
semifinals. If you lose 100 points, you're not making the games.
No.
At the CrossFit Games, if you lose 100 points,
you still may be 8th place.
Right.
You know, or 10th place. It doesn't mean that you're done.
Probably could have won the games.
Oh, you're right.
All right. So that's my team thing. Now, here's where I'm going back to my regional citizenship competition concept. One, as we said in the beginning of the show, this creates more unification worldwide of Northeast, Northwest teams only from that area, Europe, Africa, Asia, South America, and Oceania. It creates a somewhat of a camaraderie between that, right? This is a whole nother show, but to lean back on our last show of Inside the Leaderboard, the big concept change, in this type of format, you could actually implement a strength of field calculation.
Yeah.
You can actually, because everybody's competing out of the same region,
Right.
you can actually create a games allocation strength of field if everybody's coming out of their citizenship region. That's for another time, but you could do that. Instead of saying, you guys got 5, 5, 5, 6, 2, 1, and 3. It's like you can earn them just like everybody else. Everybody gets 1. You're all coming out of the same region. Your region is now ranked on the quarterfinals. And then maybe for you, it's, do we just base it off quarterfinals performance, or do we add in the open? Maybe we just say quarterfinals, whatever. Quarterfinals would be pretty freaking gnarly, wouldn't it?
Dude.
Anyway, that's another time. Here's where I think the best part is going to be. What is the biggest problem at the CrossFit Games when announcing the teams or watching teams, and what does everybody say? Who is who? We don't know. Here's where the fun part. Every semifinal region will get a custom colored kit, meaning a jersey kit, to represent the semifinal region at which they're coming from. Northeast will have their own, Northwest, Asia, Europe, Africa, South America, Oceania. If you come from that semifinal, you will wear a custom designed semifinal kit that represents your semifinal region. So at the very least, we know where you're coming from. On top of that, the only damn thing you will have on your jersey is 3 freaking numbers, the size of a football jersey, on the front and on the back. For example, if you're coming out of North America East, you guys are all wearing blue. Team 1 qualified as 101 is member 1. 102, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We know who the men are. We know who the women. The women are always 1, 2, and 3. The men are always 4, 5, and 6. And then the next team that qualifies starts at 110. And you're going to be 111, 112, 113. Now we know who is who. We can see them. We have a roster with the numbers printed on a freaking, what was those things? Programs that they used to give out of the CrossFit Games back in the day. And you know exactly, okay, I see the Europe, they're in black, yellow, and red. I know I just went like full Germany right there, but like you get what I'm saying. It's like we know who the European teams are. We know who the North America East and West teams are. We see that on the field because we loved the Invitational. And now we can see who's out there representing their semifinal region. With big-ass numbers and no freaking names. We don't need that. We know who the Dallas Cowboys are. They don't have Dallas Cowboys written on their jersey. It's a color, it's a number, and it's a damn star on the side of their helmet. Bring that to that, because after semifinals, what is going to be the coolest thing everybody is waiting for? What are the team kits going to look like this year? They will change every single year. They'll be custom made, custom designed, and they'll represent their semifinal. Now the team competition is looking cool too.
I hope Go Ruck has a lot more than just light tan and brown colors.
Yeah, black. The old noble.
Hey, look at that jersey you're wearing and the black letters on the black
Don't worry, guys.
shirt of
Your 6 will bring in the blue.
Yeah, I need.
By the way, I'm so stoked. Congratulations to Go Ruck.
Congratulations, Go Ruck.
Congratulations to Go Ruck. I can't think of a better partner that to bring into the CrossFit space as a whole. They're basically born in this community. They've done things their own way through hard work, dedication, and grit. Go Ruck personifies the old school CrossFit days, and I'm so freaking pumped for Go Ruck.
Yeah, I think it's rad. I think it's great that Jimmy Letchford got to do the whole meeting with the group.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy, I got my level 1 with Jimmy.
Oh, did you really?
Way back in the day. Yeah. So he was one of the instructors when I got mine down in San Diego, and so it's cool seeing him at different times. I actually talked to him the last time I was at the games, and I saw him at like the Go Ruck booth, and we were talking like, "What's up, dude?" He's like, "Yeah, well, I'm with Go Ruck now." I'm like, "Dude, that's cool."
Yeah.
But I just love that. I think that one of the nice things about it is it's that military flavor, which is something that OG CrossFit had.
Yep.
It was that OG feel. So I think that's really cool. But getting back to the jerseys, I think that is something that has always been, especially as a commentator, as a broadcaster, you got to be able to see who these people are. And when it comes to the teams, nobody knows who anybody is. And I am sorry for the athletes that are high end in the top 5 in the world. We don't know who all of your names are. Like we don't see you guys all the time. We know them on the individual element, but not on the team element. So you're right. It's extremely important to be able to get people fired up about who is who. One, it helps the MC that's on the floor to be able to tell all the people that are watching in the crowd what's going on, and for the broadcast to see and to tell who's doing what.
Yeah.
And we can then say, not the guy with the guy with the blonde hair and the girl with the brown hair wearing the blue shirt. We can tell you who they are now.
It's an easy call up too, because like I know they're wearing North America East. I'm going to click on my spreadsheet. They're 120.
Yep.
Like it's so quick. Now here's the fun part with the kit idea. Some of my biggest letdowns, but favorite times is what are the countries going to wear? What is the USA going to wear at the Olympics every 4 years?
Totally.
I'm often disappointed. Tommy Hilfiger,
almost
whoever
always
it is now.
Almost
not
always.
a list. I don't know who it is now, but like do better. Like you see these other teams that are just like, fuck. Like we should be doing the most gaudy American flag.
Like Elvis style?
Like just wear Captain America outfits for crying out loud. I don't care. Obviously a little bias in that statement right there, but it's like, we're going to wear deep blues and a scarf that nobody knows that there's some red and white in there. Like, we should be dressed like the fucking Statue of Liberty in an American flag holding a torch and whatever, like bald eagle. Like that's how we should go out to the Olympics. And so what I want to see at the games is regional kits that represent those areas in the world. And for fun, maybe every year you have a contest. There are thousands of people in this space that are insanely creative. Don't make it on GoRuck. How about you deliver? There's a submission contest. Every year someone can submit their designs of what the kits would look like, color scheme, whatever. And then either the public picks or GoRuck picks, but then you unveil that. And maybe if you win, right? Say you submitted the design for the team kits for the year. Shit, make the individuals have them the same ways. But you get a VIP
to the games
thing to the games.
Yeah, that should be like a no-brainer. If you're the one that like designs something like that and everyone gets fired up on it, yeah, that's an easy get.
It makes it fun. It makes it easy to watch, easy to see, easy to understand. Let alone we know what event is coming.
And it involves the community.
It involves the community.
Community. Your fan base, your support base for the sport of.
Yeah. All right. So that gets us to and through the games. Now part B. Everybody wants the invitational comeback. Okay. We have technically 7 semifinal regions, but in North America, it's East and West. If you guys remember old school invitational, it was USA and Canada. We're going to bring that back. So say sometime mid-off season, we'll bring the invitational back. You'll get a representation of Oceania, Asia, Africa, South America. Who am I?
North America, Canada.
North America. But that's
Canada.
6. Canada. Yeah. So you split East and West and you go USA,
Canada.
USA, Canada, Mexico, lower, or you join South America. Well, that's not South America. Whatever. And Europe. Sorry. There. I forgot one. That's 7. Okay? That's 7 teams that you create out of the best individuals in those regions. Thank you, Nivi. To fill out the 10 roster, if you podium at the CrossFit Games, you get to take your team to the CrossFit Invitational and compete against the 7 super team rosters.
Do you think that those that might ruin some of the other teams that were there?
Can't pick them. It's your team. You can't take from those teams.
That's what I mean. They would probably have been on their country's team or their.
Yeah.
I think
now you
cool.
go out and beat a country.
Right?
So the 3 teams we know that are going to, and here's the fun part, right? Hey, not only, because then it's like, we're not worried about the winner only. We're like, who's going to represent at the Invitational?
Here's what I say. There's 7 regions.
Yeah.
Top 3 teams from the games.
That's what I said.
I thought I said the top 1. I thought if you
win. No. I said top 3.
Okay, top 3. Good, because that makes it 10. So there's your 10 lanes right there. That's 10, your right? nice, concise setup. Yeah.
Right. And so now we're like, oh, who's going to podium? It's not even that anymore, right? Who's going to win is cool. Who's going to podium is okay. But now it's like, who is going to qualify for the Invitational? Right. Now we have the podium. Now we know the 3 teams that will be represented at the CrossFit Invitational. And then the unveiling thing comes down later. Is that now we know the other 7 super teams that will be competing from US, Canada, Latin America, Europe, Africa, Australia, and Asia and Oceania. Now we have 10 teams all going at it on a 2-day competition, 6 events, same little format, and we get double the fun with more on the line during the team season. And we get the Invitational back.
Man, I like that. When do you think that would fit? Where do you see that in the season?
It was usually in October? So that was like Rogue Invitational times. Maybe November?
Yeah. Yeah.
Games ending in August. You got September, October to kind of deload. Gives us a few times to find some people, figure out who popped or didn't pop at the CrossFit Games.
Jeez, if they could do it that
individually.
fast.
And then you have, November between Halloween and Thanksgiving. So say the second weekend of November.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Right?
Dude, I love this. I would, man.
And then we see who
get
really
some
is.
Get some Heat 1 gambling on that.
Oh, dude, could you?
Are you kidding me? I would vote for a games team over any continent.
Yeah.
Just because of the continuity. I mean, like you'd have badasses on those look at the teams that like have been on those invitational teams. Like it's it's the who's who of CrossFit. Right. It's always been that way. But they don't always work out together. They don't train together. They don't have that same continuity. I think that would be, man, that would be so fun to watch. This is
one of your worst takes you've had. Did you not listen to anything we said at the beginning of the show?
I don't think he was here yet.
Okay.
I don't think he was here yet.
6 individuals do not make a good team. It's been proven.
We've seen it so many times.
And not every team has Rich Froning on the other side of the fence, but still.
Man, yeah, that would be fun, dude. I like that little caveat you threw in there. See, I think we're pretty solid all the way through on
Yeah,
those.
I think the only things we talked about back and forth on was declaring before the open and somehow getting the alternates involved, which I'm not opposed to.
Yeah.
I think we said is like you get one alternate if it's injury related.
I say we throw that into the mix because that will shut everybody up. Yeah. And it's drastic enough of a result.
Okay.
That it's like, okay, yeah, you have an alternate.
Yeah.
And you will lose 100 points.
You can use the alternate at any time. You'll just lose 100 points if you bring him in and not just for injury.
Doesn't count on the first event, obviously.
Right. Because like if you put the stipulation is only for injury, that again opens the door to, oh, my chest, I can't do the bench press workout coming up.
Well, I think you would just
like, hey, you want to bring him in? Fine, 100 points.
100 points. Is that other person done?
Done.
Okay.
Cannot return. You get one alternate switch for both men and women. Each one would be. All right, Halpin, then
I think yes.
You're more delusional than we already thought. I was on earlier in a post Rich Froning team. I don't see it. Well, fair. This is an opinion based. My opinion is that you're wrong. Barry, welcome to the show. We already said this. But I'm glad you're here. Let's recap for Barry.
But hey, Mike, we'll still use it for the all the strength of field for the teams that we set up.
Yeah, like numbers aren't opinion based, right? That's the best part. Oh, what is it? Someone said is like numbers are the closest you get to the word of God.
Well,
have you ever heard that phrase?
I have.
I mean, if you go by the creative, like the word of God is the final say, numbers don't lie.
Nah, true that. Mike, that's why I like numbers.
Okay, recap. 3, 2, 1, go. Before the open starts, you get 3 men on the roster, 3 women on the roster, and 1 alternate of each. Bill would like you to declare your team and only go the team route during the open. Mine is that happens at quarterfinals. For quarterfinals and semifinals, you will have 6 events using those 6 people. You'll have a 3-person male event, 3-person female event, all 6-person relay style event. You'll have a 4-person mixed event, 2 and 2. The 2 that didn't compete will compete in a 2-person mixed event. That's 5. The final event would be a 4-person mixed event, while the other 2 can be subbed in at any time, and those can be switched out at all times during the event. That's the same for quarterfinals and the same for semifinals. The only teams you can compete on will be relative to your citizenship. So if you live in the North America East, you can only compete on North America East teams. You cannot go worldwide searching for the best super team. You must compete out of your designated semifinal region, just like the individuals. Once you qualify to the CrossFit Games, every semifinal regional team will have their own designed semifinal regional competition kit, color schemes, whatever, all different, but all the same for the semifinals. Only large, readable block numbers on the front and the back of the jersey will be legible for that. You'll double the events from semifinals and quarterfinals from 6 to 12. You'll have 1 3-person male event, 1 3-person female event, 6-person relay waterfall style event. You'll have a 4-person team, 2-person team, 4-2-4-2, right? The same 4 can never compete on a 4-person team event, as well as the same 2 on the other person team event. Then you'll have 3 4-person with sub events throughout the weekend. Once the competition is over at the CrossFit Games, the top 3 teams on the podium automatically qualify for the CrossFit Invitational, where the next 7 teams will be filled out from super teams made up of individuals at the Games choosing from US, Canada, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, and Oceania. And that is how you fix the team competition.
Because then it matters and people want to watch it and be involved. It's that easy.
Yeah.
But just as you're showing with your passion with this, it takes someone that is specifically passionate about the teams and making it something. Let me ask you this. Do you think the teams are going to be moved? Like the other divisions?
Yes,
they will?
right there. Fixed it. I think if you do it like that, they can be.
Yeah.
Right? But then again, then don't have an invitational. Right?
If you
because that's kind of what it is. If it's a separate competition.
Oh, I see.
Right? I like having it with the individuals. It's more people there, more eyes, more things going. Very old school CrossFit, individuals and teams. Alyssa, how many teams?
I would rather have
right now it's the same as it is, 30, and however they designate that. As we said earlier, is like in this semifinal allocated format that you can only compete in the semifinal region of which you have citizenship or you live in. This could, in fact, bring the strength of field calculations into effect where you allocate team spots based off the strength of field for worldwide quarterfinals finishes or something along those lines.
Yeah. I hope that they don't move the teams. I hope the same for the same thing, because we're starting to get those individual athletes that are moving over to the team area now. We're having more of those athletes that are doing that.
Yeah.
And I still think it's a great time for those athletes to still be relevant in the sport, be able to keep their sponsorships, be able to have a lot of eyes on them, be able to push a lot of um, awareness to different products and different things within our space. So I think it's good to keep all those athletes in there and keep that whole thing together. And the other thing with this, knowing, I mean, it will be interesting to see what it looks like this year with the arena.
Yeah.
How they're able to move between team events and individual events, and the areas that they're going to be doing that in. So, especially if they were to hold true to some sort of an event foundation or an event table of contents that you had there. So, I like it though.
Thanks.
My biggest thing, honestly, is I think people need to pick early of whatever it is, and that's my biggest thing for all of them. So,
I agree. I think the easiest position to do it would be quarterfinals, because that's when we're doing it anyways.
I don't think it would change anything, honestly. I just think that it would, just like when they're looking at the numbers at the quarterfinal level, they're just
right. But if
looking
you
at them
wanted
early.
to be on the open individual leaderboard, because that's the fun of the open, would you not be able to be on it?
I think you could be on both. I think they could show everybody, but then you could extrapolate over and see here are your teams, and then you could have the I think you could have here's everybody that's competing, and then here's what the actual leaderboard is for the people that are going to be qualifying. Your top 25 going into quarterfinals, because I don't want Tia bumping someone out because her score is great for if she's going individual.
Well, that's like you have to declare at quarterfinals, because but like I said, in the open it doesn't matter.
I want people thinking that way. I think that
unless you use the open as the points allocation, then I would say yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
Cocky. Would it be more exciting if there was one or two teams eliminated after each workout? March Madness brackets.
No.
No. We saw that in 2019. That got a little rough.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But that was my gut reaction. Maybe not after each event.
The reason I don't like that is because you can have a team that's going to be really good, and if the events are set a particular way, then that would change what your outcome is, and I don't think it should be that way. Yeah. I think it should be that everyone's competing so that everyone's competing.
Yeah. Clock. Hardly any teams represent affiliates. That's why we're not calling it the Affiliate Cup. We're just calling it a team competition.
CrossFit's too big to have that now.
Yeah, it's done. That's dead. All right. That's what we got. Hope you guys liked it. Give us your feedback. Give us your opinions. And that's it. That's it. If you guys, again, go download the Heat 1 app. If you're getting ready for Wodapalooza, which I guess will be starting 6 days from now.
Yeah, you believe that?
Next Thursday. There'll be some live coverage. I don't know the extent of it. Bill and I will be getting to sit at home together watching for the first time since 2015.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
Cool.
But you'll be able to see us over on Sevon's podcast.
Yes, that just makes us more available for the Sevon podcast that I'm sure we'll be doing pre-shows for every event, post-shows to every event. Live on site, Coffee Pods and Wads with Pedro will be there at the podcast stage. So if you guys are in Miami, do that. Shut Up and Scribble with Taylor and JR will also be there for live podcasts, I believe, every morning to start the day. Go to the OG Culture booth. We've got our new swag there on site. We'll be there at Wodapalooza. If you guys are a supporter of the show on Patreon, thank you so much. We are, well, I guess, adding our workout of the day or workout of the week back for you guys.
I'm building those up right now.
Bill's building his. I'm building mine. We'll post those up. If you guys support us on Patreon, first of all, thank you so much for supporting us more than you already do every day when you listen to us. But you guys do get an exclusive discount just for you at the OG Culture website, and as well as if you add some socks into your shopping carts online and use a new code that everybody has been emailed. If you didn't get it, then you probably aren't a paying member as much as you think, and you get a free pair of socks as you do that. But again, thank you guys so much. I'm excited for 2024. For Pedro's like, we're going to take it over.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're going to collectively take it over. It's been great. We're going to get back into the grind, a bit more secure schedules to go forward. And other than that, thank you guys so much. Bill, Happy New Year. Have yourself a great weekend.
Yeah.
You guys, see you next time.